Dave the MMP from Yola. I'm not on Yola right now. I'm doing a little work on my Raspberry Pi sailing computer. So I'm running OpenCPN and it's on OpenPlotter. I've obtained a MacArthur Hat, which I'm going to use. I like the MacArthur Hat because you can use AIS on it and you can have your own solution for AIS. It also takes MNEA 0183 and 2K. So I have some sensors that I'm going to use. I'm going to put a wind sensor at the top of the mast, and that'll probably be 0183. That'll get multiplexed with my pelagic autopilot, and then I'll also send it to the Pi. So the Pi is going to be able to show me wind speed and direction. I'll probably build a little dashboard on Grafana, and those signals will come through signal K. And that's how I'll get those signals processed into the Pi and running on OpenCPN. Lots of people are doing this in OpenPlotter. So let's take a look. Okay, so I've been playing around with the Raspberry Pi. This is the Raspberry Pi that I'm going to use for my navigation system. It's a Pi 5. You can tell because it's got no audio jack here. The Pi 4 has an audio jack in that location. I've got the Raspberry Pi M.2 board in the middle here and the MacArthur Hat. Now, the MacArthur Hat has a bunch of things on it. It's got a power supply right here. So basically, you can supply the power 12 volts to here from your boat. And this guy converts the 12 volts to 5 volts that the Pi runs on. And it's got a little LED display here as to what's happening. So it'll show you that it's got 12 volts, 5 volts for the Pi. And then there's a whole bunch of inputs. There's MNEA 0183. There's MNEA 2K. There's CAN bus, GPS, AIS, whole bunch of stuff on this board. I2C, C-Talk for Ray Marine. So there's a bunch of things that you can use this thing for. Most people use it because you can plug in a little AIS. You can build your own little AIS system and plug it in here and recognize it. This board here is the IMU. That is the MEMS compass. So it's a 9-axis compass and it'll measure pitch and roll and rate of turn. You just have to calibrate it once you get your Pi up and running with your navigation system. So a bunch of plugs here that you can plug in all your different devices and different device that can be plugged into it. You can plug in one-wire heat sensors for your engine and all those kinds of things. But what I'm struggling with right now is the total height, the installed height of all of this stuff. And if I look back here, looks like I'm at about almost 2 inches tall above the power supply in the IMU. And I think that's going to be a problem. And I still have the Pi on the bottom with the SD card. And so I generally use the micro SD card. I just keep it in there as a fail-safe. My program is actually running on the M.2 program. So the Pi is programmed to boot off of the M.2, and you can see it in there. It's in that little middle board. Now, what I've seen a bunch of people do, and I think this is going to be a problem for my enclosure, I've got an aluminum enclosure that is somewhere around 2 inches deep. And I think this stuff might actually be touching the inside of the case. And I still haven't insulated the bottom of the Pi. So the other thing that I've seen people do is they use the Pimoroni Base. So I've got an M.2 and it's actually the large one that's on here. It's the 2280. So this guy will handle 2230 up to 2280. And I don't have to worry about shorting out the Pi with if I have this on the bottom. It's got some little rubber bump-on pads right now because I just use it on the bench. But what I think I'll do is take the pads off, put it on the bottom, put the Pi on top of it, get rid of the M.2 board in the middle, then I can put the MacArthur Hat right on top of the Pi. And that's going to give me a total installed depth probably of about 1.5 to 1 3/4 of an inch. That's going to give me the clearance that I need under the lid of my enclosure. So I think that's the way that I'm going to set it up. I still don't have the cooler on it yet. The cooler goes in here on top of the Pi, and I'm going to mess around with that a little bit. I don't like the way that they have the pads on here. It comes with the little pads, so when you buy the cooler, it's got the silicone pads on there, but I don't really like those. I tend to use these little copper spacers, and I use the heat compound that you use in your typical computer CPU. So that's what I'll end up putting on the CPU of the Pi when I put that cooler on. So let me see what it looks like when I reconfigure this thing with the Pimoroni base on the bottom. This guy, get rid of the M.2 hat, put the MacArthur hat on top of the Pi with the cooler, this guy on the base, and we'll see what kind of height I get out of that. Okay, version 2. So instead of having the Pi on the bottom, I'm going to have the NVMe base on the bottom. I took my NVMe drive, and this is a 256 gig drive. This base can take up to a 2280, but this guy happens to be a 2230, so it's just the physical size of it, doesn't really matter. I probably never need more than 256 on OpenPlotter. It would be mostly for, I've programmed the Pi to boot off of this guy. So OpenPlotter is on the NVMe, which is what all modern computers are using for a hard drive. Laptops use them. Even the desktop computers. I've got this little computer that I use here, a little GM Tech computer. Basically, it's an N100 and it's got 256 drives in it. I did upgrade them, but I think they're 2280s in that guy. But nevertheless, it's the same deal, right? So I'm going to start with this guy. It has feet on the bottom of it right now just for keeping it on the bench. It's got these little rubber bump-on pads that you probably have on your kitchen doors. I'll take those off, and this will be right on the bottom of my enclosure. And then when I get this guy on top of here, and I get the right hardware, which is either these guys or some of these guys, you also need a little extender for the GPIO. Otherwise, it doesn't quite fit. So you can see here where I've got the MacArthur hat right on the Raspberry Pi, I had to add a tall jumper to get onto the GPIO to make it the right size. Now, the issue that I'm having is it can't be any shorter than that, otherwise it runs into the USB ports, right? So you can see the MacArthur hat is sitting almost right on top of the USB-A ports, which is kind of where I want to be. I want it to be as short as possible, but it can't go any shorter than that because you run into the top of the ports. So I think this is just about right. And in this little gap here gives me just enough room so I can put the Pi cooler in there. So the Pi cooler sits on top of the chips, and that's what cools the CPU. The RAM apparently doesn't need it. I went and did a deep dive on the internet to find out why they don't have a little pad on here. They have a pad on here for the CPU, one for the power chip, and there's one other chip that they were cooling also. It wasn't the RAM, but I think it was the I/O chip. You can see it right here on the box. So there's really 4 chips on the Pi 5. You shouldn't be able to see it right now. It's kind of covered up with this guy. Might have another Raspberry Pi. Okay, so here's the official cooler for the Pi 5. This one's made by Raspberry Pi. On the bottom of it, it has the little pads, right? And this one's for the CPU. This one is for, this is for the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi chip. This one is for the power module. So the RAM basically sits about here on the Pi, but they don't have a pad on it. And the GPIO controller, which also controls the USB on the Pi 5, it would be up about here, and they don't have a pad on that either. So I guess they've figured out that these other two chips don't really require it. I started thinking about RAM. Should I put another pad on there right here so that I could cool my RAM? And I thought, let me go have a look at my computer. So I look inside my computer here. Here's NVMe drive, 2242, I think it is the size. Here's a 2280 NVMe drive that I added as a backup drive. And here's the RAM, right? So I upgraded the RAM in this computer. It's now 16 gig RAM. You can probably read that. But there's no heatsink on the RAM. And so what I started to realize is the RAM probably doesn't need a heatsink, and that's why they don't have a heatsink pad right here on the official cooler. So they're not concerned about cooling the RAM on the Pi 5. So I'm not going to bother. I might add a little pad to the GPIO controller because in OpenPlotter, everything runs through the GPIO. Now, I would imagine that they figured out that, okay, this chip probably doesn't need it. And maybe when you're just using a Pi 5 as a regular computer, the only thing you have plugged in there maybe is a keyboard and maybe a mouse. I'm going to have my GPS plugged into the USB. I'm going to have my wind sensor plugged in there. And all of the other things that are used on OpenPlotter, like the touch screen, all that is going to go through the GPIO chip on the Pi 5. So I think I'm going to add a little piece of this thermal pad back here where that I/O controller is on the Pi 5, just to make sure that it stays cool. So I just have to fit the cooler on the Pi. I'm going to have to take the MacArthur hat off again. I've got the IMU bolted down, and I've got my power supply bolted down. So if the boat's jumping around like crazy, those things are not going to come off and make the Pi malfunction. NVMe drive is screwed down. It's got a little thumb screw. So all of this stuff's going to get bolted together. It's going to be very secure. So I think once I get this guy sitting on top of here, and I get the right dimensions, basically I'm below 2 inches. And that's really what I needed to achieve, was a total stack height of less than 2 inches to get into my enclosure. So it's definitely reducing the height by using this NVMe on the base, as opposed to using the official NVMe hat by Raspberry Pi. The other thing that I have is I've got the Daisy AIS. So they call this the Daisy Light. It's sold by this place in Washington. And it's on the OpenPlotter website. You can find it. This is the power supply, or the Daisy. It goes from USB-C into USB-A. There's a little adapter cord, and that goes into your Pi, and then this goes to your antenna, so your AIS antenna. And then you use signal K to take the signal from the Daisy and put it into the Raspberry Pi. And that's how you get AIS on your touchscreen on OpenPlotter. So there's a few different ones. This is a really micro one. It's called the Daisy Mini. Comes from Megawatt LLC. They're in Washington. So if you just Google megawatt.com, I'll put the link in the description of this video on where you can find all this stuff. The Pimoroni Base. Pimoroni comes from the Pimoroni Corporation, and they're in Sheffield, England. I ordered it online. Their website will convert um, the currency based on where you are. So I'm in Canada. It converts to Canadian dollars. If you're in the US, you just tell it you're in the US. It'll convert it to US dollars. And they mail by the post. So they will send it in, of course, in England, it's Royal Post. And they will hand it off into the US when it lands in the US somewhere. And it'll be brought to your door by US Post or Canada Post, wherever you happen to be. So that's real convenient to buy that guy. The MacArthur hat comes from the same place as this Daisy Mini, which is Wegmat LLC. And I'll put the link for that also in the description of this video. So I think I've got a winner here now with using the Pimoroni base. I'm going to reassemble this whole thing and see what it looks like. And then I'll probably test fit it into the enclosure. The great thing about this now is the Pimoroni base is basically just a PC board. So I can screw it right down to the base of my aluminum enclosure without worrying about shorting it out. Because the last time what I had was the bottom of the Pi, which is all full of electrical stuff that which would have ground out against my aluminum base. So I would have had to put either feed on this thing to get it up off the aluminum, or put some sort of a insulator, like a little sheet of plastic underneath it. So I think I've kind of sorted out my situation with the total stack height of this thing to fit in my enclosure. And if it still doesn't fit, that means that I'm going to have to probably lose the IMU, because the IMU, you can see sideways here, I could cut those screws off the top of the nuts, and I might have to do that. We'll see what happens when I test fit it in the enclosure. The other option would be to move the IMU to its remote terminal box. Now, this thing is a 9-axis compass. It's a MEMS compass. Electronic compasses, they do the same thing as this guy. And so I could take it out of this enclosure, and I was kind of thinking that I would mount it on the mast inside the cabin. So down below the deck in a dry area. The thing about mounting it at the mast is that's the most sensitive part of the boat. It's the center of the boat. It's going to sense pitch and roll, rate of turn very quickly. And that's what the IMU is meant to do. So if you're tracking boat position, which in OpenCPN you are, and you're tracking route, so track where your track is heading with the nose of the boat, or the bow of the boat, that's the sensor that you would want to do that. So I've seen a lot of people mount them on the MacArthur Hat like this, or mount them somewhere close to the Pi. But the Pi ends up on a bulkhead near the cockpit of the boat. I don't think that's the best location for the IMU. So I think it should be more central in the boat. And in my boat, that's probably the mast, the lower part of the mast. So I might get a socket and mount this guy in the socket and just run a cable, and that would sort out that problem. But I think what I'll do is I'll do some compass measurements, some rate of turn measurements once I get this thing up and running in the boat, and see what happens. Okay, guys, I think that's it for me. I'll do some more tests in the enclosure and see how the Raspberry Pi navigational computer running OpenPlotter fits in my enclosure. You guys have seen the enclosure before. I had it in my last video trying to figure out where I was going to put it on the bulkhead inside the boat. So see you guys next week. Subscribe up here. Give me thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next week for some more sailboat DIY fun.